It is 1:30, Universal Time. I'm Jim Tedder in Washington. Fighting between Sri Lankan Navy boats and rebel naval forces has killed 17 sailors and 50 rebels. The sailors were killed when Tamil Tiger rebels sank a Navy boat Thursday. The Navy said the rebels sank 2 Navy gunboats. It said the rebels also attacked Navy vehicles guiding a boat that was transporting troops. The Sri Lankan military said it sank 3 rebel boats to answer the rebel attack. The Air Force also attacked rebel territory on the northern part of the island. European and Asian truce observers say relations between the government and the Tamil rebels are at their lowest point since a 2002 ceasefire. Fighting continues in the Somali capital, Mogadishu. Reports say 120 people have died in the violence that began Sunday. Islamic forces and an alliance of private armies have been fighting for control of parts of Mogadishu since Sunday. Reports say most of those killed have been civilians caught in the crossfire. In related news, the United Nations says it is investigating claims that an unnamed country is violating international restrictions by providing weapons to forces in Somalia. Bolivian President Evo Morales says it was necessary to take control of the oil and gas industry in order to end 5 centuries of foreign wrongdoing in Bolivia. Mr. Morales spoke Thursday in Vienna, Austria, to a gathering of world leaders from the European Union, Latin America, and the Caribbean. He accused some foreign oil companies of operating illegally in Bolivia. Mr. Morales warned that some foreign companies might not receive payments after the state takes control of operations. The Venezuelan Congress has suggested that the government take majority control of 4 oil projects in the Orinoco River area. The suggestion came after Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez announced plans to raise taxes on foreign oil companies. Mr. Chavez said the new tax would bring the nation more than $1,000 million. The new tax will be about twice the amount of the current tax. Mr. Chavez has accused foreign oil companies of exploiting Venezuelan energy resources without paying enough. The state now holds a majority share in 32 oil fields that had been operated under agreements with private companies. Officials from the European Union say they expect to begin holding talks on a free trade area with Central American leaders during a joint meeting of EU and Latin American leaders. The Central American countries participating in the free trade talks are Costa Rica, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, and El Salvador. The EU already has free trade deals with Chile and Mexico. You are listening to the news in VOA Special English. Iraqi politicians say a dispute over who will lead the oil ministry has delayed the formation of a new government. Officials said Thursday there is also a disagreement on who should become the next ministers of Interior and Defense. Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki had been expected to announce his new cabinet Thursday. Earlier Thursday, the government said a single command would lead all security forces in Baghdad. The new command is an effort to control violence in the capital. Officials say there are tens of thousands of police and private army troops operating in the Iraqi capital. They said the reorganized force would wear the same clothing, use similar vehicles, and report to a single commander. The chief of the United Nations Nuclear Agency says he welcomes the delay of a UN Security Council decision on the subject if it will take actions against Iran. Mohammed El-Baradei spoke in the Netherlands Thursday. He said he hopes for a compromise that would guarantee Iran the right to peaceful nuclear technology. Britain, Germany, and France are preparing economic offers in exchange for Iran's giving up its nuclear program. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice says the Bush administration supports the European efforts. The Iranian president told Indonesian television that he is ready to open talks with anyone to settle the dispute. President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad said it was wrong for nations that have nuclear weapons to pressure Iran to limit its peaceful nuclear program. Nigerian police say 3 foreign oil workers have been kidnapped in the city of Port Harcourt. Police said the 3 are employees of an Italian oil industry company. Police and oil industry experts said the kidnapping appears to be linked to a company dispute with a local community. On Wednesday, an American oil company official was killed in Port Harcourt. Local militants have denied involvement in the 2 incidents. The militants are demanding a greater share of the area's profits from oil sales. The United States has expressed deep concern about reports from Egypt of a violent government campaign against pro-democracy activists. An American statement urged the Egyptian government to permit peaceful demonstrations. It also said the United States is concerned about reports of violence and how long demonstrators have been held by police. Thousands of Egyptian riot police beat and seized many activists who marched in Cairo Thursday. The marchers were demonstrating in support of judges who have said there were many problems with the elections last year. And now, briefly, here again is the major news of the hour, read in VOA Special English. Fighting between the Sri Lankan Navy and Tamil Tiger rebels has killed 17 sailors and 50 rebels. Bolivian President Evo Morales says his government took control of the oil and gas industry in order to end 5 centuries of foreign wrongdoing. And officials from the European Union say they soon expect to begin talks with Central American leaders on a free trade area. And that's the news in VOA Special English. From Washington, Jim Tedder reporting.